A formerly prosperous civilization, the Zarin, are now on the brink of collapse. Their cities, once brimming with light and life, are now pummeled by relentless enemy fire. In the skies above, their last defensive fleet disintegrates under the overpowering onslaught of a vicious extraterrestrial empire. The air is filled with the terrible cries of their people, their fragile bodies struggling to find shelter from the bombing. Their technology is advanced, but their bodies are feeble, unable to handle the rigorous physical demands of war. They are brilliant scientists and diplomats, but they have never been fighters. Their colonies, spread across adjacent star systems, are under siege, falling one by one, with no hope of reinforcement. In their darkest hour, the Zarin looked to their allies for help. These were the races who had once called them friends, partners in commerce, and protectors of peace. But those partnerships disintegrate like dust in the wind. The Galactic Council convenes, and their decision is swift and harsh. The Zarin are labeled a lost cause. No resources, no aid, not even a word of comfort is sent. Cold calculations and self-preservation guide the Council's choice, abandoning the Zarin to their fate, deeming them unworthy of the effort or risk. Panic spreads like wildfire among the Zarin people, who now perceive their friends turning their backs when they need them most. They feel the sting of betrayal deep in their hearts, realizing they are completely alone. Desperation sets in. With nowhere left to turn, the Zarin leaders make a last desperate decision. They transmit a distress signal airing on every channel across the galaxy. Their message is clear. We are the Zarin. We face extinction. Our colonies burn, our children weep, and we plead for aid. Whoever you are, wherever you are, if you have the means to save us, we beg for mercy. It is a call for rescue from a race on the brink, a plea ringing out among the stars. They know their prospects are slim, but they cling to this final thread of hope, praying that somewhere, someone will hear them. The signal spreads like a whisper through the void. Extraterrestrial civilizations receive the call, but the response is not what the Zarin had hoped for. In the war rooms of countless star systems, the message is met with ridicule and scorn. Some races see the Zarin as pathetic, a cautionary tale of what happens to those too feeble to defend themselves. Others perceive an opportunity to pillage what remains, scavenging the carcass of a dying race. The more powerful factions simply shrug and continue with their own plans, unbothered and uninterested. Days pass. Silence follows. The Zarin leaders face a grim reality. Their cries for help have been ignored or dismissed. Their hope dwindles, replaced by the cold acceptance of their fate. But then a response comes from a most unlikely source. On a little blue planet on the edge of the galaxy, a group of humans receives the Zarin signal. This coalition is not an official force, but a ragtag squad of mercenaries, ex-soldiers, and volunteers. They gather in a dimly lit room, eyes fixed on the projection of the Zarin's plea. Among them stands Captain Marcus Thorne, a man hardened by war, yet guided by an unshakable sense of justice. He listens closely, his jaw tightening as he hears the anguish in the Zarin's voices. He knows what it is to be abandoned, to be left for dead. Thorne turns to his crew, their faces a mix of curiosity and doubt. He doesn't hesitate. He knows the odds. A small force like theirs, with limited resources and outdated ships, stands no chance against a mighty alien empire. But he also knows something else. Leaving a helpless race to die goes against everything they stand for. He speaks with conviction, laying out the mission and the perils they will face. He appeals to their shared humanity, reminding them that they are not just fighters, but protectors. Silence fills the room. Then, one by one, the crew members nod. They realize this mission is almost suicidal, yet they also know they can't turn their backs. They choose to act, to become the light in a galaxy shrouded in darkness, to bring hope where none exists. As the human ship prepares for departure, the crew is filled with a mixture of determination and uncertainty. They know the odds are against them, but they also know they have something the enemy does not, a resolve born of empathy, a willingness to stand up for what is right, no matter the cost. With engines roaring and weapon systems checked, they set a course for the Zarin system, ready to face whatever dangers lie ahead. Because while the rest of the galaxy chose to look away, They chose to see, to hear, to act. Captain Marcus Thorne stands at the center of his crew, surveying their faces. Each of them has their own story, their own reason for being here. To his right stands Rhea, a former soldier who left the military, disillusioned by its politics, but still seeking a cause worth fighting for. Next to her, Dr. Samir Patel, an engineer who lost his family to a similar conflict and now seeks redemption by helping others. Across from them, Kira, a brilliant scientist whose thirst for discovery is matched only by her desire to make a difference. The team also includes Donovan, a seasoned mercenary who has seen too much death, but still clings to a code of honor, and Lily, a combat medic who believes that every life saved is a victory against the cruelty of the universe. The crew gathers in the briefing room, tension thick in the air. The Zaren distress signal plays on a loop, echoing in their minds. A debate erupts. Donovan argues that this isn't their fight, that the odds are impossible, and that throwing their lives away is foolish. Others nod, voicing similar concerns. But then Rhea speaks. She challenges their hesitation, reminding them of their duty, not as warriors, but as human beings. She tells them that if they turn away, they are no better than those who abandoned the Zaren. Dr. Patel joins in, speaking of humanity's history of defying the odds, of their unique ability to fight for what is right. Kira's voice is soft but firm. If we can save even a few lives, it will be worth the risk. Thorne listens, letting the debate run its course. He understands their fears. They are valid, but he also knows that fear cannot dictate their actions. Finally, he speaks, his voice calm yet commanding. He reminds them of the values that define humanity: compassion, justice, and the refusal to let the innocent suffer. He tells them that they are not just a ragtag band of fighters. They are a symbol of hope. The room falls silent. Then, one by one, the crew members nod. Their doubts fade. They know they cannot ignore this call. They must be the ones to act. With their decision made, preparations begin. They will have to infiltrate the Zaren homeworld undetected, navigating through enemy-controlled space. The mission is dangerous, but they have an advantage: stealth, cunning, and a will to fight. As the ship lifts off, leaving Earth behind, the crew knows what lies ahead. They are heading into the unknown, a small force against a massive, ruthless enemy. But they are ready to defy the odds, ready to prove that even in the darkest times, there are those who will fight for what is right. With a firm hand, Captain Thorne gives the order. Set course for the Zaren system. And with that, humanity's last hope hurtles toward the heart of the war. Their ships and soldiers approach with murderous purpose. The humans are badly outnumbered, but they use their environment to their advantage, turning the ruins into a lethal maze. They set traps, create distractions, and strike hard and fast before disappearing back into the shadows. The adversary is perplexed and frustrated, unaccustomed to such tactics. The humans keep them off balance, always one step ahead, using the terrain and their ingenuity to counter the superior numbers. The conflict reaches its peak when the opponent pushes harder, resolved to break past the humans. Though fatigued and running low on ammunition, they refuse to concede. They fight with a fury that amazes even their enemies, driven by the knowledge that they are the Zaren's last hope. The adversary commander, recognizing that his troops are being outmaneuvered, orders an all-out assault. The humans respond by unleashing their ultimate, most daring action, a coordinated attack on the enemy's command center. With their last remaining bombs, they disrupt enemy communications and command structure. The explosion sends shockwaves through the battlefield. In an instant, everything is chaos. Seizing the opportunity, Thorne orders an immediate evacuation. The Zaren are quickly loaded onto the ship, and humanity prepares to make its escape. The opposing forces, bewildered and leaderless, start to fall back. But they are still many and still determined. The human ship lifts off, rushing toward the edge of the battlefield. But the opponent isn't giving up. They deploy fighters to intercept, and an intense chase ensues. The humans employ every trick they know, maneuvering past debris fields, dodging enemy fire, and using their ship's agility to outmaneuver pursuers. The crew feels the strain as hostile ships close in. The ship takes damage, but they push forward, refusing to be captured. They reach the edge of the system, and with a final burst of speed, they engage the hyperdrive. The opponent tries to follow, but it's too late. The human ship disappears into hyperspace, leaving the adversary behind. They've made it, but only just. The crew breathes a sigh of relief, but they know the threat isn't over yet. They chart a course for their secret safe haven, understanding they must remain vigilant until they reach their destination. They have won this battle.